Welcome to Monologues by Hassie, where I'm going to be dropping unsolicited brain dumps from the depths of my grey matter. I'll talk about life, money, society, and self-development, plus whatever else lies up there, whilst hopefully not getting cancelled in the process. I speak to so many people who are trying to learn skills, and not just learn a skill so they can reach some basic beginner level proficiency, but they want to get to a point where that skill can make a tangible impact on their lives. And in this pursuit, something that has happened to me so many times when I've tried to pick up a skill, and what I see happening with a lot of other people, is we get shiny object syndrome. There comes a point where you know you need to repeat, to practice, right? Deliberately practice that skill. But the reward you're getting from it, that intrinsic reward, the dopamine that you're getting, slowly starts creeping down. And as it starts creeping down, this is where we latch onto the next shiny object, the next thing we want to learn, the next course we want to pick up, the next book we want to start reading, without having finished what we were already working on. And I 100% know this because I face it every single day. But then when you look at the people who become experts in any field, be it athletics, music, mathematics, computer programming, these are the people who they are absolutely relentless with their drive to mastery. And a big part of that is it's not that people are intrinsically more motivated than the rest of us, but they become more comfortable with doing things that are boring. And in the current version of myself, who is far, far, far from where I'd like to be, I have found in certain areas I have been able to push through more boring things than other people, which has resulted in more progress over a shorter period of time. Because I can simply keep doing something that is intrinsically boring. And because I can keep sustaining doing something boring and I can push myself through a low dopamine environment for longer, it means I can get disproportionate levels of success. Now, of course, I actually think that the way I operate is grossly insufficient, because anyone who knows anything about me will know that when I'm reading a book, I don't read just one book. I rotate 2, maybe 3 books at the same time. And the reason I do this is because there comes a point, especially when I'm reading a lot of technical software engineering literature, where the dopamine I'm getting from that topic is just so damn low. But here's the thing, I know that getting through that book is going to be intrinsically good for me, but it is very hard to do. So I kind of have these books on a roster. But there does come a point where I know I have 2 software engineering books that I need to finish right now. One is on test-driven development and the other is on domain design. And I know that it's going to be this mammoth effort. So how do you overcome the feeling when you've lost all dopamine? And here's the thing. I realized that when I finish both of these books, I will be a better engineer, and I may be more efficient in the design decisions that I'm going to make, which is going to lead to more success for myself. So for me, I set these kind of battles. It's almost this fictitious war that I put in my head. It's like, you know when little kids play the game where they believe that the couch is the safe spot, and if they land on the floor, it's lava. They've created a fictional punishment where if their feet hit the ground, they're in lava and the game ends. So the way I see it is, for me, I'm going to say, in the next 3 weeks, I want to finish these 2 books. Because if I don't, I'm going to fall into lava. And that sounds incredibly stupid. But sometimes when the dopamine, when the positive emotions get so low, you can either what you need essentially, you're making yourself your own accountability partner, and you're creating a negative situation if you don't satisfy that contract with yourself. And if you really want to give it some teeth, you can always have an accountability partner and pay them a certain amount of money, or donate money to a charity that you absolutely hate. All of that exists, because if you can't be motivated by dopamine, then you should at least try to motivate yourself by the fear of imaginary lava, or even better, just the simple thought of going through your life and making pathetic excuses for not finishing that skill or not getting to the proficiency that you want to get to. Because it's very exciting early on. And as I said, a lot of people talk to me about this. and they ask me for advice. Not that I think that I'm worth coming to for advice on this, but a lot of people say that, I'm picking up a programming language. I'm trying to learn how to do Python. And initially, it's really exciting. Initially, you're going to go to your computer and you're going to write some code and you're going to go print hello world, and you're going to see that be printed in the console, and you're going to be like, cool, I just got a computer to display some text. And that feels really amazing. And here's the thing, as you progress, it's going to be really exciting initially, very high dopamine activity, you're learning something cool, you're seeing all the possibilities, but to be able to build those possibilities that you're dreaming of, you need to be at a level of proficiency far higher than you are now. But to get to that level of proficiency, you need to practice, you need to learn, you need to read different resources, build different projects. And as you keep repeating these activities, this deliberate practice on your journey to getting to the point where you can build out those things that you were visualizing when you first started learning that skill, in this case Python programming, the dopamine has been completely shot, it's been completely reduced. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you haven't touched your coursework, you haven't touched those projects for months on end. And I know this because I'm absolutely in the same boat. If I have one redeeming quality, it is I'm the type of person who can drop something for 3 to 4 months and I can pick it up in 3 to 4 months and finish it. Because I keep reminding myself, because I totally have shiny object syndrome, but I keep reminding myself that it is what we finish that leads to our success, not what we start. What I finish will generate more success for me than everything I start. So I know deep down that I need to finish more things, to complete more things. I need to have a smaller to-do list of projects, because my success lies in compounding the things that I have already done. And the same applies to you as well. So if you're on that journey where you're trying to achieve mastery and you've started off really excited, gung-ho, you've gone straight into it and you've made a lot of progress at breakneck speed, but all of a sudden you're noticing that doing the next thing is not enjoyable, there is nothing wrong with you. Your dopamine is meant to drop when you see the same stimulus over and over again. But you need to remind yourself that you need to keep going on that path even though it is low dopamine. And maybe the way you're going to do that is you are going to create a fictitious or a potentially real negative outcome if you do not do that. Because whilst obviously you don't always want to be driven by fear and negativity, and I highly don't recommend making that your normal go-to, when you have identified yourself as having come to a crossroads where the dopamine associated with doing that activity that you should be doing is so low, then maybe that is a temporary step that you can take to help you get to the next step, to help you finish that course, to finish building that project. Because if you finish it and you can kickstart some of that passion, and often here's the thing, you are actually going to get that dopamine back, but you're only going to get it when you hit the next level of development. And it's not always going to be a linear thing. It's not always going to be a curve that is always going up as you put in more effort and as time goes by. It may be a step function where you stay at exactly the same level until one day you've done enough work that all of a sudden you realize, wow, I can do so many more things than I could do yesterday. But I couldn't do it the day before because it was actually the accumulation of everything that I've done in the past. So I'm going to end this episode there. And just a reminder that it is completely normal for dopamine to drop as you are on your learning journey, as you are on your journey to mastery. And when that happens, you need to find strategies to push through that low dopamine, to be comfortable with the fact that you're not always going to be enjoying everything. I think if we always enjoyed everything we did, I don't think we'd enjoy anything. It is the fact that there is this dichotomy between high dopamine activities and low dopamine activities. It's what makes life beautiful. And in addition to that, it is being able to persevere through low dopamine phases that makes those high dopamine phases even better. Because now there is a reward for the activities that you have done. You have changed your identity in being able to persevere through them. And ultimately, you will make it easier for you to keep doing those hard things. And remember, the competition around you, they are going to be dropping like flies. Because if they are not aware of the low dopamine dip, and you are, and you can push through it, that is going to lead to more success for you. And with that, I wish everyone listening to this podcast great success on all your endeavors. You've just made it through another episode of Monologues by Hassie. It brings me great pleasure to know that you made it to the end. To listen to more episodes, subscribe on your favorite podcast app or visit monologuesbyhassie.com. Thanks for swinging by.